So after winning the World Series here with the Angels, I wanted to just hop into my Royals save here that I had been playing for quite a while before I started the Angels. This was like my save that I was playing while OOTP was still working on all the bugs and everything, and I was just kind of just doing this while they figured everything out. So the early parts of this was just a lot of the stuff where the development wasn't really working great, and just whatever all the other issues that they had on release. But we stuck with it, and we are here in 2044. I have not played this since, like, the beginning of April, so this was all just, like, a month, I want to say. What did the game drop in, like, mid-March? So probably mid-April I stopped playing this, so yeah, probably, like, a month of getting into 2044. We just finished up 2044. First things here. Standings. Bit of a realignment situation going on here. Bit of a realignment. It's obviously a realignment situation. The AL and NL names are just there for, like, keepsakes, but the divisions are now location-based. So the Metro Division is like the Northeast Division. The Pacific Division is the Western Division. The Southern Division is the Southern Division. And the Great Lakes Division is the Great Lakes Midwest Division. You got Toronto and all, like, the Midwest teams. And you can see the Royals here. We have turned this team into a very interesting, like, mid-sized market now. Fan interest always up there. Fan loyalty, solid. Market size, below average. That took me quite a while to get up here with the Royals, as you can see, 2044. But we're consistently a team that is up there in markets, and we're consistently competing. If we take a look at our team history here, or go to the info, team history. You can see we took over in 2024, obviously, won 69 games. Did not go well. Immediate upgrade, 75 games. Then 82 games, we make the playoffs for the first time. 85 games, we win the division because the AL Central was awful for a while. 86 games, we win the division. Then we win the exact same amount of games, 5th place. Don't make the playoffs. And then it's 92 games, 91 games, 77 games. I think it was either this year or this year that we made the realignment. I think it was this year. That sounds right, because me dropping to 5th like that, it's because we're in bigger divisions. That sounds about right. I missed out by 1 game on the wild card. So yeah, I think it was 2029 when we did the realignment. So you can see here, back-to-back 91 seasons, then a down year, and then just this absolute absurd run of making the playoffs every single season and no championship. So we're just going to take a look and start things off in 2033. We're going to go to league history, playoff history. We're going to go 2033. Boom. You can see we make the World Series, get swept by the Dodgers. Let me just make sure. So maybe it was this that I changed it? Oh, no, this is the year that I missed. That was the year that I missed. Okay. And then 2031. I don't know. I forget what year I realigned, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But we're getting too long in the tooth here. This just wanted to be a quick little thing to show you guys. But 2033, we get to the World Series. We get swept by the Dodgers. Then we move on to 2034, and we lose in the wild card to the Chicago White Sox. 2035, we lose in the division series to the Chicago White Sox. 2036, we lose in the division series to the Chicago White Sox. 2037, we lose in the division series to the Chicago White Sox. 2038, we lose in, no, we lost to the Braves, and then the White Sox went on to win the whole thing. So they were still just, rubbing into my face. And then 2039, we lose to, or we take out the Cubs, finally, and then we move on to the championship series, and we lose to the Chicago White Sox in the CS. So then, what is this, 2039? Then we move on to 2040, and finally, the White Sox are no longer, like, they're tailing off, and we're starting to rise here. So we get to the playoffs, we sweep the Twins, then we lose to the Braves. They go on to win the World Series. 2041, we're over here. we slay the Giants. I remember doing this and like sending messages to all my group chats and being like, "Holy shit, we did it! We did it! We beat the White Sox!" And then we just instantly proceed to lose to the Cubs, and then nothing matters. So then we go 2042. White Sox, not even a playoff team anymore. We're just getting first rounded, despite 2042. I'm pretty sure we won like 90, like high 90s games. 2043. We make it to the World Series. We lose to the Pittsburgh Pirates. 2044, which is the most recent one, we get swept in the DS after winning out of the wild card round by the Reds here in the DS, and still no World Series for the Kansas City Royals. This was like very much with the Angels, where a lot of these years was Operation Get Bobby Witt a Ring, and we just never could. It didn't matter what we did. We just never could win the goddamn big one. You can see here he had a 10-war season in 2031. For a while, it was looking like he was just going to be like like he had this insane 2025 year, but it looked like he was just going to be like a guy who puts up absurd war, but he doesn't really hit because his ZR ratings were just always absolutely bonkers. And then he fell off towards the end, and he started being more of like a second baseman, third baseman type guy for us. There were some rough years at the end of his career there, but for the most part, he was absolutely absurd. And then, like, just suddenly at age 27, he's like, you know what, I'm going to turn on the hitting, and he just has this great run of being an insane hitter. With obviously the peak being this 171 WRC plus season, 51 doubles, led the league in average, led the league in OPS, just insane years, but still did not make the Hall of Fame and did not win a World Series. And you could see the budget with this team. I mean, we've gotten this team to be a point where they're competing with money. We're not like cheap in the offseason. We've got money to play around with. We've got a mid-tier budget. We've got the fan loyalty increase. The market size is below average, which starts off pretty low. It's not quite A's level low, but it is pretty low, and especially the fan loyalty was pretty low to start out with as well. So it took a while to get these things up, but we have them in a good spot here. Doubt I ever really play this again, but I just wanted to show you guys just how unlucky we got in this compared to the Angels, where it's just like boom, immediate improvement, boom, World Series. Alrighty, let's go. Congratulations, you have won it all. That's right, GM Robert Pollard. And here's the team. We got Logan O'Hoppe, Shanuel, Paris, Neto, Westberg, Rada, Happ, Trout, Calabrese, Hassan Kim, Cease, Detmers, Houck, Webb, Durant, Bachman, Cavalli, Lopez, Joyce, Canning. You can see the names as we scroll through here. I'm not going to list off every single one. Even Mauricio, who's now in the Giants. How was he doing with the Giants? It looks like he was doing pretty well. Yeah. Where was this? Where was this in Anaheim here, huh? Could have been doing this in Anaheim, but he decided not to. But it's all good because we got Logan Webb. So he helps us win a World Series. But Mauricio still gets the ring anyways because he gets traded the same season. Same with Jordan Adams with St. Louis. 59 games with them. Negative WAR. You know? Good to see that. It justifies trading him in my mind. Not that we got anything good for him. He was in the Trevor Rogers deal. But, yeah. And then Jaron Duran, obviously, almost ended us. Almost ended us in the DS. But we came back. We fought back. So that is this screen where it shows the champions. 89-win regular season. And we win the World Series. And now it is time to embark on our off-season. As you can see here, we have a couple options to decide on, as well as Griffin Canning has decided to execute the last year of his player option, which is fine. We're fine with Griffin Canning for another year. We wouldn't have given him that deal if we were not fine with it. Obviously, he got very lucky this year. He's probably not going to be like a number 3. He'll probably more be on the back end of the rotation. If I had to imagine, like a 4 probably. He might have even been there this season. I'm not sure, but he's not like a main guy. He's just like kind of a steady, solidly above league average ERA plus sort of guy. His FIP spiked this year, but you know we can work on that. And then Ian Happ, who I do think we are going to bring back for only $4.5 million. He was just too important to us. He's too solid of a player. He's going to play first base for us. He's a fan favorite. we're going to bring Ian Happ back. So that's an easy decision in my mind. Ha-Seong Kim, though, we are not going to bring back. It's only $3 million. He was a positive war player, but I just don't think that he is. I mean, I don't know. He might be worth bringing. Let's come back to this in a second. We are indeed not going to bring back Ha-Seong Kim. We're going to void that last contract year. We can always decide to bring him back once it gets to free agency, but for now, he is no longer going to be a member of our team, and we're either going to look internally to replace that backup infield spot in the organization, or we can, like I said, if we could bring him back, maybe cheaper, or we find somebody else in free agency. We do have some possible budget issues. Right now, it says that we are over budget. I don't know why it says that we are, because it seems like we have money, and I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I guess our total expenses are cutting it close to the current budget, but I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be like we're over budget, but I don't know why it's warning me that if we're over budget, it's limited to half. Over budget, it's limited to half, which we obviously do not want. So let's try to figure that out. We do have some guys in arbitration that we are planning on probably cutting bait on. And by cutting bait, I mean trying to trade them. Guys like Jose Soriano, who's a reliever, 29 years old, projected to make like $3 million this season. You guys know at this point I am cutthroat with relievers for the most part. I don't like to pay relievers a lot of money because I find them very easy to develop and replace. So it just makes sense to me that you should be saving money that way. So like Bachman making 4.2 this year, probably somebody we're probably going to move on from, try to trade, see what we can get for him. Cheaper reliever even. I mean, even if we just trade these guys for a reliever like we did with Clevenger last year, who's going to be cheaper, less expensive, and have more options, that is something that I'm always willing to do. So Bachman, Cavalli, Josiah Gray's just kind of already on the. He was just the guy in AAA for us, but we are probably not going to, obviously not going to bring him back and paying him $2 million. That's not something that's going to happen. Ben Joyce, Phillips, probably Silseth, I would say, are the relievers who are going to be back next year, making less than $2 million. Like Cole Reagans, I just don't think he's really worth bringing back. Maybe. But he's fragile. I just don't really think it's worth it. So, like, Reagans, Bachman, Cavalli, Gray, obviously. John King was in AAA for us. He was fine down there, but we're not going to bring him back. Soriano are all guys we're going to be looking to flip and move on from here in the offseason. But Joey Bart, probably not bringing him back as the backup catcher. Jordan Westberg, we're going to have to do something about him. He's in arbitration now. Kyron Paris is on arbitration. So is Wilyer Abreu. And so is Alan Serta, the man who has kind of lost his job. If we take a look at our projected lineups here, let's take Bart out of here. And I've got Hackenberg in this second utility because ideally we try to find a legit backup catcher here this offseason because we need one. We just cannot keep rolling with these guys that are giving us absolutely nothing in this backup catcher spot. Even if O'Hoppe plays a ton and he's an absolute monster and he's never been hurt, we are going to do something in the development lab with him to try to move this up the durable this offseason because I got a comment. I forget your name, but if you commented this, you know who you are. He said that I should look into giving guys the, what is it even called? In the development lab, as I can't even frickin' find it. It's like the strength and conditioning. So if we put O'Hoppe in here, what am I doing? We put O'Hoppe in here, and we go strength and conditioning. It is hard, but apparently this can pay off really well, and it gives you, like, I guess it gives you a boost in durability. So we're going to try to bump O'Hoppe's durability up this offseason. I don't think we're going to use 2 of these slots on durability, though, because it is a 3 to 4 month one. So we'll probably put O'Hoppe instead of somebody like Trout, who would be nice to get up and fragile, but I just don't think it's really worth the juice is not worth the squeeze on Mike Trout here at this point in his career. Like, he's 36, he's like, he's, you know, if he's normal, like, he's going to be normal just so he can put up, like, league average numbers at this point in his career, is probably where he's heading, especially with these ratings. I don't think it's worth it, but it definitely is worth it if we can get Ohapi up to durable. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Strength and conditioning for Logan Ohapi, and hopefully that works. He does not have the greatest personality. He does have adaptability. I don't know if that really helps for this, but obviously this is not a sure thing. But we are going to attempt that. We'll fill in the rest of this a little bit later, and I'll update you. But I just wanted to mention that because I got a comment about it, and I thought it was very interesting because I had never even thought about doing that, and I was like, that's actually pretty smart. So, yeah, this is what we're projected to be looking like right now with just guys who are currently on the 40-man. Obviously, the lineup is looking pretty much the same here. I might possibly look into extending Kyron Paris here long term. I mean, this is very cheap for the type of player. If he puts up a year like last year, like if that's who Kyron Paris is, I would be plenty fine with that. Even if he's honestly like this guy. I mean, maybe not this guy, but this guy, I mean, I don't know. I believe in this profile. He's got the 50 contact with the 60 BABIP. He's got the 50 gap power, and he's got the 75 I. Really good base running, solid defender. He's not like elite defender, obviously, but I mean, maybe we could move him to second base at some point in his career. But for now, I mean, I don't think we're going to get a better option than Kyron Paris at shortstop for it now. And after the postseason he had for us, the ALCS MVP, he's a high leader, captain, work ethic guy. I mean, I just think it would be smart to bring him back. So we're going to do that. I mean, obviously we're going to bring him back, but it would be smart to extend him here. So I think I'm going to workshop this a little bit because I don't think we're going to extend to age 33 and buy out fucking 5 years of free agency here. But maybe, like, I don't know, something like this. 6 years? What would you want for 6 years? The same deal. I'll probably mess around with this a little bit. But this is something I'd be willing to do. Maybe even 7 years. Age 32. Yeah. I'll probably do 6. Alrighty, so I offered him 6. He countered with a 5-year deal, and we bumped all this money down quite a bit. He was like, hey, how about a 5-year and these last 2 years are 10 million? And I'm like, how about we take $1 million off of like all these years except for your 2028 season where you're going to be making less than your arbitration was is an estimate. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Kyron Paris, we're going to extend him through his age 30 season. You know, I think that's smart. He's not somebody who's really proven it to the point where he's somebody who should get like an 8-year contract. But I am plenty fine getting him out for his arbitration and then plus 2 years of free agency. And even the second year of free agency is a team option. So we can be like, hey, we don't want to pay you the $8 million. We'll buy this $300 buyout. But I envision us probably having him around on the roster for the entirety of this deal. So Kyron Paris, we are extending him. As far as Westberg and Wilyer Abreu go for position players who are arbitration eligible, Westberg's almost 29, probably not somebody we're looking to extend. How many years of team control do we have left of Jordan Westberg? Okay, so he's got 3 years of team control upcoming. Yeah, 3 years of team control upcoming. And, you know, probably not going to be extending him to a long-term deal. Maybe I can give him like a 3-year deal for cheap. Like something like this. Yeah, I tried to offer him like a 3-year extension thing here for all of his arbitration. But I think we are just going to go and like just try to like kind of give him like $100,000 left in his arbitration estimate this year. And like we usually do with guys who are up for arbitration. And yeah. 1 more year of Westberg. We're going to lock that in. He probably is going to be on the roster. As long as he keeps putting up numbers like this, he'll probably keep being on the roster through all of his arbitration years. But he is not somebody who I'm looking to extend long-term. Wilyer Abreu is somebody who we envision being part of the roster this year. Also, when I was setting up this, I totally forgot about Abreu because he's currently on the IL, and we need to open up spots on the 40-man to bring them off the IL here, which we will do once we decide who's coming back and who's not and whatnot, and who are these guys who are worth, like, trading, and some of these guys who are worth, not even, like, worth just, not even worth giving arbitration offers too, and they're not going to have any trade value, so we can just kind of like waive and DFA them now and open up spots for Abreu and Woodruff to come back onto the roster. But Wilyer Abreu is obviously going to mix in to this outfield mix in some way. DeJesus probably not going to be playing outfield for us. Obviously had the great postseason as a pinch hitter, the great last few games of September as a pinch hitter as well. We love the work ethic, intelligence here. We love his base running ability, even with the 70 steal. He's not the greatest fielder, but he could be like a backup bat here, and then with the 65 power, that's always going to be a very interesting guy to have. So Randy DeJesus, probably not like a key piece, but we probably are going to want him on the roster as like the backup first baseman, if I had to guess. Obviously not pretty a bad first baseman, honestly, but I don't know. Maybe he starts in AAA, maybe he starts here. It depends, but we're not going to like block a roster spot for Wilyer Abreu if it means that we have to keep DeJesus on the roster, because Wilyer Abreu is somebody who ideally is a part of our next year team here. So lefty bat, obviously. Him and Serta are probably going to like swap. Like Abreu is going to be the backup corner outfielder against righties, where against lefties it'll be Serta. Obviously I haven't set up lefties yet because I'm just doing this to kind of show what the projections are for this team, for the outlook of this roster. But yeah, Wilyer Abreu will definitely slot into this somewhere. So we do want to bring him back for at least one more season. 2.4 is what he's expecting. Yeah. Boom. We're offering him exactly $100,000 less, and we took off the promised role of starting. So he's going to be making 2.3 this year. We'll give him that. Wilyer Abreu, come on down. Or not come on down, but stay with the team for slightly less money than you were expecting. And then Alan Serta is somebody who, I mean, it's hard not to believe in this bat. This gap power I think that can play. Has it played so far in his career? No, but I think it can. I think this is a bat that can play. Even if it's just sort of like a bench player, kind of annoying, but we are going to bring him back for at least 1 year. And then as far as the guys who are pending free agents without compensation, we're obviously not QOing Hassan Kim, and we are not going to be bringing back Cronenworth, or Yohan Duran, or Houck, or Rogers. We literally can't even bring back any of these guys because we don't have the budget to extend them right now, because this goes into our money for signings, which we do not have a lot of right now. Total available money, or total money available. We do have a lot for extensions, for re-signing guys who are like arbitration eligible and are under team control, but we are not strapped in cash right now for the total money available. This this did go up quite a bit last year once we got to free agency signings after we traded some guys and whatnot, but hopefully that happens again, because we would like to make a couple signings here this offseason. But for the most part, our roster is pretty set. Aside from like swapping the relievers and whatnot, the lineups are pretty set. We just need like a couple pieces here or there. I also just noticed that Chase Silseth here, his arbitration estimate is 2.8, and the team offer just default was 1.6. Probably because he was in AAA for us this year, and he was hurt for a good chunk of this season, I believe. Yes, he was rehabbing from a torn UCL. I mean, I don't want to take the chance that we're going to offer him this in team offers, because I just tried to offer him this as just like literally the 1.6 as like his actual like contract offer, and he was like, no, fuck you, get out of here. I'm no longer interested in negotiating with you. So I don't want to take the chance that like the arbitrator is going to be like, hey, we want to give him this, and he's making like $1 million more than you would really want him to, really 1.2 more. So I think Silseth is a guy who we are also going to look to trade here and join the dudes like King, Gray, and Reagans if we could possibly try to get something for them, who are probably going to lean more non-tender. But yeah, so like Phillips and Joyce are probably the only guys who we're looking to bring back. So like Phillips is projected to make 1.7, so we'll just go in here and just drop this down. And to 1.6, offer him that. He doesn't even want that, so we'll give him like 1.65. Boom, that's reasonable. Come back, we'll save 50,000. Ben Joyce, 1.5. What if we give you like 1.43? Boom, that's fine. Boom. So Ben Joyce and Connor Phillips are going to come back for one more season, but the rest of these guys, we are going to try to find teams for them and try to find guys that can help us for cheaper amounts of money. Okay, we're running into the issue where these guys don't have trade value. You would think Sam Bachman here, who has been a very... I guess he hasn't been great. He's been like a league average reliever. He had a ton of appearances last year. My scout thinks he's quite good, but I don't want to pay him this $4.2 million. The thing is, he doesn't really have any trade value. We shopped him single player. I'm obviously not going to take on Keibert Ruiz's contract. This DH is like kind of interesting, but not really. Luis Garcia, not really somebody we're looking to take on. Another outfielder who hasn't proven it in the big leagues. We have guys better than him. And then obviously we're not going to take on Brian Bayo's contract. So, and I also shopped him as a prospect package. I had somebody comment saying you should always be looking at prospect packages, and I don't know. I shopped this, literally nothing came up when I did. And also, whenever prospect packages do come up, they're always like very, very, very underwhelming. You'll be like shopping, like I guarantee you I could shop, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to piss off O'Hoppe by shopping him, but I could shop O'Hoppe for like a prospect package, and it would be like, hey, how about a 35 potential guy and then like a 40 potential reliever? And it's just like, no, why would I do that? So, that's usually what happens when I shop prospect packages, but I don't know. Somebody said that I should do that more often, but maybe it's better now, but I swear, whenever it usually comes up, it's always very underwhelming. So I usually do this and then try to make my own multiplayer deals out of just starting from seeing who they're offering. But as of right now, Bachman has no trade value, which is not ideal because we're not really trying to just... we're not trying to, like, just lose him for nothing. Like, if anything, if I had to choose one of these guys to bring back, it'd be Bachman. I would bring back Bachman, and I would if I had to choose who to bring back and who to non-tender, I would probably bring back Bachman and non-tender Cavalli. I think Cavalli was good for us this year. He was in like the stopper role, but Bachman was like secondary stopper. I don't know. Maybe I would bring back Cavalli because he's a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure. We will see how it goes. Okay, well, Cavalli has more options popping up here. This guy is very interesting with the 80 stuff from the Rockies. Lefty, but he is 30, and he's projected to make like the same amount of money that Cavalli would even get. So, love the 80 stuff. Don't like the fact that we wouldn't really be saving money for Giovanni Moran here. Honestly, as far as guys that I'm seeing here that would save us money, the one that really stands out is literally the first guy listed is Sean Burke. Simply because he's a 45 listed as a starter. This could jump up to 50 as a reliever, and this 55 stuff could tick up to 60. He's already got 55 movement. The control is only slightly below average. He has this really good 3-pitch mix with an above-average changeup, or like an average changeup too. He was really good in AAA, solid in AAA, I should say, and he was 30 games in the rotation for them. Not great, but we would be thinking about him as a reliever. Don't love the walk rate, but it's not awful. I'd like to see the K rate jump a bit because we don't want this. But that's another thing is if he goes to the bullpen, is this K minus walk percentage might jump quite a bit with the tick up and stuff. Yeah, and then Soriano just has no interest from anybody. Honestly, just because these guys have no interest, I might just bring them back. I might just bring Bachman and Soriano back, even though that's not really what I like to do. I don't like to do that with relievers because they're just so volatile and they're so, like, not worth anything. As can be evidenced by the fact that nobody wants these guys, because nobody's like, oh, you have a 29-year-old reliever who could just, like, blow up at any time and have a bad season? No thanks. But obviously, Soriano has been good for us. He's kind of dropped down in importance in the bullpen, though. So I might just non-tender Soriano, bring back Bachman, and then trade Cavalli for Sean Burke. That is probably what we're gonna do. Probably what we're gonna do there. Alrighty, so I believe this is what we're going to roll with here in the player development lab. Logan O'Hoppe, strength and conditioning. Like I said, we're going to try to get this durability up to durable. Chris Sands, who was our first-round pick in last year's, or I guess this year's, first-year player draft. 23 prospect in baseball right now. He's looking like he could be a stud, and I just want to ensure that this control gets up, and maybe even take the potential up to 65 with the high work ethic intelligence combo here. So Chris Sands, we're going to try to improve his control just to guarantee we get this, because we do not want to like lose out on this control. We're just we need that to develop. Patrick Forbes here is a guy who we took in the 6th round in 2025, and he has developed quite decently. You can see here he's had a really good year in A-ball and then a really good year in Double-A. Back-to-back years. Probably won't move him up to Triple-A this year because I just don't want to like have him get shelled out there in Salt Lake. But we're basically trying to improve his velocity rather than his control, because he doesn't have a boost to his control here. We will be trying to move a guy who has no control potential, but we are gonna, I don't know, we're putting, we'll get to that when we get to that guy. But I feel like if we can get this velocity up into like the 99 range, this guy could be absolutely fantastic, and we could just kind of like overlook the fact that he has 45 control, or he just becomes like a really good reliever with a good fastball curveball combo. But Patrick Forbes, he is in the development lab for increased velocity. Kyron Paris, we are going to take a shot in the dark here and try to improve his shortstop defense. I don't really know exactly what this does. I think it just moves up their shortstop here. I'm not sure if it actually touches their range or not. But we're going to take a shot in the dark and do that. We got the big eye upgrade from him last year. If we can get this ZR up a little bit by improving his shortstop defense, now obviously it is a hard training thing, but Kyron Paris does have high work ethic. So, and we have had a success with him before. So we're going to try doing that. And then Sadid Matthews, who was our 2nd-round pick this year, he's already got 40s and everything, and we are just trying to ensure that this power develops, because we want this bat to develop alongside this outfield range and speed. He could be an absolute stud. So Sadid Matthews, we want to try to get this power developed as much as possible. Tap into that 65 power here, so we've got him generating bat speed. And then Andrew Healy, I don't really know exactly if it's worth going for control on a guy who has no control potential, according to my scout. But I just think it's worth it with this guy. He was in AAA St. Paul. He was a part of the Yohan Duran trade. He was like the second piece of it. Lefty. I mean, if we get this is all ticked up because he's up in the big leagues as a reliever right now because he's on the 40-man. But if we get this control ticked up to like 50... I mean, this guy could be, I mean, even right now, if we take a look at him as a starter, he's only a 45, but I mean, everything else, aside from this control, he could easily be like a really good, really solid back-end starter. Won't be this year because we have 5 starters set, but absolutely could be. And if we can take this control up to 50, that's a game changer. So we are going to take a shot in the dark with Healy and Paris here, and then obviously O'Hoppe. I usually try to do with this, I try to focus on guys that are like trying to make the jump from AAA to the big leagues, or like a certain level, like a harder, like maybe like a AA guy, AAA guy, sort of something like that. But we're going to mix things up this year, and this is what we're rocking with here in the development lab. Alrighty, so we have found our Cade Cavalli trade. We are sending Cade Cavalli and Joe Areola, who's just a throw-in to make the deal work, to the Arizona Diamondbacks in return for Sean Burke, former Maryland, Massachusetts man, ground ball pitcher, throws pretty hard. They have him as a starter. We would be looking at him as a reliever here. Let's also just get a scouting report on him just to get that in progress. 55 stuff should tick up to like 60 once he moves to the bullpen. Even if he's these ratings right here, I'm fine with what we're acquiring. But Sean Burke is going to be the main piece coming over. He also only has 1 year of service time, so he actually has 2 years at the minimum left this upcoming and one more. And he also has plenty of options, so that adds to the flexibility. And then Owen Wild is a guy that they have on their AA team, who I guess they signed at the end of the season. Interesting. 25-year-old out of Gonzaga. He, I guess, has bounced around systems. Yeah, so he was a Rays guy. They tried to put him in the development lab unsuccessfully. They released him in 2026. He went to the Yankees. Then he got released by the Yankees, went to the Brewers, got released by the Brewers, and then 2 days later got signed by the D-backs, and now we're trading for him as a throw-in. I like this guy's profile. This guy, I don't think he's a starter, obviously, but I think he could be an interesting reliever. He's still only 25 years old. I think he's an interesting profile, so we're going to pick him up here and see if we can make something out of Owen Wild. So that's the Cade Cavalli trade. Alrighty, so this is what we are trading for Sam Bachman. We are sending him to the Tampa Bay Rays. Very, very dangerous to do in real life. But we are sending him to the Rays along with Jorge Marcheco, who is just kind of a guy. He had a good year in high A this year. Don't love the personality at all. Don't really think he's ever going to be anything. He's 25. Of course, he had a year like this in high A. And then we're also getting $1.5 million along with Skylar Hayes here, who is a flame-throwing ground ball pitcher, insane fastball slider combo here. This guy could be a very interesting reliever arm for us. They picked him up with a trade with San Francisco, former Santa Clara guy. You can see here they had him in A ball for some reason, just absolutely shoving with the Charlotte Hot Rods, I believe is what that team is. Anyways, I can't see what it is right now, but he does have a major league contract despite never playing in the big leagues. They literally just waived him that I missed somehow, but he's going to be on our 40-man anyways because he is Rule 5 eligible, so that's totally fine. Skylar Hayes is going to be the main piece we pick up here, plus $1.5 million in cash. And yeah, so Sam Bachman's going to go to the Rays. Boom. Also, our money available has jumped. Our extensions has jumped. Our player development, as you can see here, we are no longer being slashed for being over budget in development or scouting, so that is great to see. Little update on the knuckleballer. They massacred my boy. He's just... things have not gone well for him in the international complex. His potential has dropped to a 35. It's not looking good. If this home run and control stays at 25, this guy's never even going to get past, like, rookie ball. We are now at the point where all the awards have been given out. So the National League MVP was Jackson Churio. That is his first MVP, 2027. 8.3 WAR season for the Milwaukee Brewers while putting up a 17 ZR in center field, 42 doubles, 29 home runs. Pretty incredible player. Hate to see the fragile already as he's 23, not even 24 yet. The American League, Walker Jenkins, like I projected, Logan O'Hoppe, second, misses out on it to Walker Jenkins because he just had this absolutely absurd year. But we get the last laugh as we win the World Series, and he's already fragile. So Walker Jenkins does get the MVP. Nolan Shanuel finishes 4th in MVP voting as well. Love to see that. The National League Cy Young was Andrew Painter. The American League Cy Young was Pablo Lopez. Is that back-to-back for him? It is indeed. 26 and 27 back-to-back Cy Youngs for Pablo Lopez, as he just absolutely is slicing and dicing up there in Minnesota. We did get Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease did get Cy Young votes. Only 4, but he does get some votes. He's on the list. That's all that matters. And National League top manager goes to Craig Counsell of the Cubs. American League manager goes to Brandon Hyde for his 125 win season, despite, losing out to us. But they do get the manager of the year. The National League rookie was Braden Montgomery, former Texas A&M player with the San Francisco Giants. Hit 44 home runs in his rookie season. The American League rookie was Roderick Arias, switch hitting shortstop. Yeah, 23 years old, solid season as a shortstop. Getting the Yankee bump, that Charlie Condon do. Apparently, wow, okay, so they traded him the immediate offseason after. That is one thing I do have ticked on, is that you can trade the guys that you draft in the following offseason after you draft them. And apparently Cleveland took advantage of that and traded him to Toronto, along with Stephen Kwan, for Kevin Gausman and $16 million. Holy cow. I mean, I guess he was okay for them one year, and then he wasn't great the next, so, you know, they miss out on Charlie Condon. I don't know how their seasons went that year, but Nelson Rada here, third in Rookie of the Year. Love to see that. He was pretty solid. National League Silver Sluggers. The Rockies second baseman. 6 WAR for him. Love to see the Rockies doing something, even though they're not winning. Any other standout names here that jump out? No, pretty standard names you see on there. American League Silver Slugger, Logan O'Hoppe. Yet another Silver Slugger for the man after a 177 WRC plus season. He's just got that catcher position locked down. And then Nolan Shanuel, also Silver Slugger at DH after his 44 home run season, which led the American League. National League Reliever of the Year, David Bednar, now at the Braves, takes that. American League Reliever of the Year goes to Felix Bautista. Then we have Hader and Scott, all 3 Orioles. And then it's Yohan Duran for his time split between us and the Twins. It's his World Series ring. National League Gold Glove winners. Mark Vientos, now in the Pirates, apparently, getting a Gold Glove. Let's see if these outfielders actually deserved it. Left field, Alec Thomas. 6 ZR, you can take that. PCA definitely deserved it, 19 ZR. And then Braden Montgomery, not great. One of these weird ones again. Like I said, I've seen some funky stuff ever since launch, really, with some of the Gold Glove stuff. Kind of annoying, but, you know, not the end of the world, I guess. And then the American League Gold Glovers. Trevino apparently back with Texas, still being just an absolute stud defensively. David Hensley at first base, 31-year-old getting his first ever Gold Glove. Peraza, Torres, Gleyber Torres getting a... Alright, he actually had a really solid year at third base for the Yankees. Interesting. Willie Adames at shortstop. For the White Sox, Dylan Beavers in left field. Did he actually deserve it? I would say so. Vance Honeycutt, the guy that we missed out on in year 1's draft, 21 ZR. Man, I would love to have that type of ZR. Obviously, we have Calabrese, which I've learned is... It's not Calabrese. It's not Calabrese. It's Calabrese. Calabrese. Looked up a clip of him hitting in the minor leagues, and I saw it's Calabrese. So... Honeycutt, obviously not the best hitter, but incredible ZR, and especially compared with who our first-round pick was that we took 1 pick later in William Schmidt, who we will show you in a second here, has not been doing well. Denzel Clark gets it in right field. Solid year in right field for Denzel Clark. Oakland's got some outfielders, apparently. They got some decent defense over there in Oakland. Now I'm curious, how was Oakland this season? Yeah, they were scrappy. They could have made it. This whole top 4 here is scrappy. We're a very close division, it seems. And then I'm assuming their defense was quite solid. Okay, so it wasn't actually as good as you would think. But kind of shocking. They won 83 games. Their Pythagorean was way lower than 83 games. But shocking they got to 83 games with all this stuff. They just really didn't strike out. They didn't really pitch that well. They didn't hit well at all. Kind of crazy they managed to win over 80 games. But like I said, the guy who went 1 pick after Vance Honeycutt, who we missed out on, things are not going well for William Schmidt here. He was our first-round pick in year 1. It's just not going well. Rookie ball was not good for him. He went to A ball, was not great. we had him in high A ball just because we don't want to repeat A ball, and it's basically the same level, but we don't want to move him up to double A. I mean, the ratings could still be like a reliever someday, but things are not looking good for William Schmidt. And also, this probably had a lot to deal with the A's not having great defense. Remember in the offseason, we were looking at J.P. Crawford, Nico Horner, and Ha-Seong Kim as our backup outfielder. And once we saw that J.P. Crawford had like a negative 10 ZR at short, negative 11 ZR at shortstop with Milwaukee, we were like, okay, he's not an option. And the A's decided to sign him and then just play him at shortstop. Not sure why, but they did, and it went about as well as you expected. Alrighty, so we are here at free agency filings, and just a quick little go-over of what we are going to be looking at here in free agency. Starters, we're not going to be looking at it. If we look at anybody, it's going to be somebody like Cade Cavalli, who we can sign to like a little like short $1 million deal, who could be like a decent reliever for us, and possibly give us like some innings in the rotation if somebody gets hurt. Because right now our depth for the rotation is not the greatest. Like it'd be somebody who we don't really want start. Like Burke could slot in there, obviously. Healy could go in there, I guess. Who else? Connor Phillips honestly could even slot in there if we wanted him to. I don't think Lopez. Yeah, no, not Lopez. But we have Jackson Ferris on the 40-man. Don't really want him starting though. Waldbert Urena maybe could be on the 40-man. Or not on the 40, but in the rotation, give us some innings. Jamie Melendez definitely not with this control. Even though he expects to be in the starting rotation, he's just delusional. Ignore him. Kaiwei Tang, I guess, will give us some innings, but the control's not great. Hayden Birdsong is probably the most obvious, like, fifth starter guy if we need innings. So maybe like a depth starter. But right now, what I'm looking for with the bullpen, these are like the 7 guys that we'd probably rock with as of right now. Healy and Joyce being the double-barreled stopper combo. I think that's the most obvious of the best guys we have. And then like Skylar Hayes, Sean Burke. Let's take Skylar Hayes off of closer. They just had him that in AAA, so it kept his role as that. So Skylar Hales, Sean Burke, Chase Lee, Connor Phillips, and Jose Lopez are the 7 guys right now who we would want in the bullpen. And then these rest of these guys are like, they could mix in, but they're the clear like second tier. Or this is the first tier, this is the second tier, and these are like the clear like third tier of guys that we think these guys are better than. Or we think these guys are worth. These are like the guys who would replace these guys if they don't pitch well or they're injured or something. So maybe we could pick up like a bullpen arm or two, is what I'm saying. Like a depth starter option who could be a bullpen arm and like maybe like another bullpen arm. It depends on what's out there. And then when it comes to the hitting, backup catcher, we need a guy who could fill this role and actually be a solid guy for us. Backup infielder who could play a solid shortstop when we need him to. And then a backup center fielder, because right now our center field's option is not great. Obviously, Ruiz did some patchwork there in the playoffs last year. Hasn't even played in the big leagues in the regular season. But obviously, he did have that big hit in the postseason. He's a World Series champion, but not an ideal. He does have 60 range, which is fine, but not an ideal backup center fielder to have on a roster here. I just don't think. I would prefer a guy who's more useful than a guy we just play in center field occasionally, because I just don't think Ruiz is that useful, despite, obviously what he did in the playoffs. I don't think he's that useful. Plus, he's fragile. We'd ideally like a guy who can rival Calabrese's range here to be his backup, and that's probably mainly what we're looking at here. A backup catcher, backup infielder, center fielder, maybe something else if something pops out to me, but that is the main things we're looking here for in the offseason. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, in the rotation here, we have Webb Cease as 1-2. Woodruff is back this season, but as you can see, he is a 60. He was a bit higher than that. He was a 70 at one point, but obviously coming back from a big injury like that, he missed all of last year with a partially torn UCL. Big injury like that, not great for a guy who's entering his age 35 season. The ratings are still solid, though. But the thing is, the stamina went down quite a bit. As you can see, it dropped from 55 to 35. So 35 is literally the minimum I would take to have a starter. I think it's still very doable, but we did drop his pitch count down to 90. It was 95, and I think he's now more of like obviously Webb, Cease, Woodruff, Detmers, Canning is still a very solid rotation. Detmers is even a 60. We could move Detmers up to the 3 spot, but I think this is what we're going to rock with, at least to start the season. Also, first thing I'm noticing here, just sorting this by all pitchers, Sam Bachman is in for agency because the Rays just didn't offer him. I guess they thought his QO, not his QO, but his arbitration was too much as well. So they just gave us those guys for free apparently, or I think they gave us the guy, and then they gave us some money. Was what we got for Bachman here. So Bachman, I mean, we could potentially bring him back. Obviously, it would be extremely hard because he's pissed at us, but it could be an option. We'll have to see. And in case you're wondering how Max Fried's season went last year, he made 14 starts with the Yankees. He was solid, but he is down to wrecked injury proneness now, so he is definitely not somebody I would be interested in picking up. Plus, we don't need a starter. Our man Joe Adell is actually the one of the third best. Him and Carlson. It's a light hitter class here in free agency. Jung-Hoo Lee, the grandson of Wind, all-time nickname. Unfortunately, he is not a center fielder, though. Negative 13 ZR in center field for the Giants. He is definitely a corner outfielder. And if we were to... I would be interested in signing him if he was a center fielder. To like maybe knock Calabrese down to be like the backup guy. But he is not a center fielder, unfortunately. But anyways, Joe Adell is up here with the best guys available. He's going to get paid. He's demanding $19 million. Signability for us would be easy, but once again, we do not need him because he cannot play center field. He put up a decent season with Chicago last year. Similar home run doubles numbers, but the WRC plus was a little bit less than it was with us in his career year. And he was a very solid defender in the corner as well. He's a good player. He's blossomed into a good player, but I am not trying to lose a draft pick for a guy who we do not need because we have a logjam essentially at the corners with obviously Trout's going to keep playing a corner. We might move Trout to first base next year once Ian Happ's no longer on the roster, but that's obviously a next year thing. This year he's going to play left with Wilyer Abreu and Alan Cerda as backup corners, and then Nelson Rada has solidified himself as a corner outfield. We might do a situation in spring training where we have Rada move to left because he's 65 there. And I prefer to have a guy in right field who has a bit of an arm. And Trout, not much more of an arm, but he does have an arm, and he also has the potential to be a 60-grade right fielder. So I think in spring training, we're probably going to like swap these guys around and have Rada in left and Trout play right field and work on his right field in spring. But yeah, obviously, bit of a logjam at corner outfield right now. Trout, not the greatest defensive guy on the infield, but that is the plan, is to possibly move him to first base next season when Ian Happ is not on the team. I saw that Dylan Carlson here has 65 range, and I was like, that's doable. He only wants $8 million. You know, that could be an interesting buy low center fielder for us. But then, negative 14 ZR in center field. So Dylan Carlson is not an option to play center field. $8 million, though, that is interesting because his bat is... He's never really been too great. One of these guys, once again, where it's like, if he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? He hits, like, very average. Not a lot of great numbers popping out to me here. 2027 with Cleveland at the plate was pretty solid, but overall, nothing really jumps out here as what you would like to see from this sort of profile. I guess he does hit a decent amount of doubles, but once again, we have a logjam. We don't need him. $8 million is tempting for that cheap, but not interested. But as far as the catchers who are available here, Cal Raleigh could be interesting. Definitely. He is a guy who, I guess he's had injuries, or is he just like a full-time bench? I guess they have Harry Ford now, so he's probably relegated to being a full-time bench guy. Probably want to get a scouting report on him. Going to take 1 to 2 weeks. Don't know if he'll last that long. I guess he will, but he might be interesting. Cal Raleigh as the big dumper backup might be interesting. He was very good in 2024 when he was starting, but then they called up Harry Ford, and his playing time got cut into, and just lost his positioning. Lost his position. He's still got the 60 framing. We'll see if any of this stuff changes when the scouting report comes back. But Cal Raleigh could be interesting backup. Shea Langoliers does not even want a major league deal, so he might be an interesting option to give a minor league deal to and have as our AAA catcher, just because he is a 50 overall potential, although it's mainly because he has this really good arm, and I guess the power is decent, but he hasn't really ever done it. Like, he's been the starter for Detroit, and it was quite bad, and we're trying to get more production out of that. Tyler Stevenson, not really what I'm looking for. I prefer a guy who can be like a solid defensive guy like Cal Raleigh can, plus he has a little bit of pop. Obviously, we're not going to sign Wilson Contreras to be a backup catcher, but I think Cal Raleigh and Langoliers are like 1 and then like a distant 2 as who I would prefer to get here. So we're going to see what Raleigh this comes back to, and then we're going to offer him, I think. Also, I'm constantly messing up his name where I don't know if it's Raleigh or Raleigh. Is it literally... I don't even know if the town name is Raleigh or Raleigh, honestly. It's one of those ones where it's like locals say it's something different. You hear it on TV, it's always something different every time. It's kind of like how people don't know how to say Louisville. You got to say it like you have a mouthful of marbles. All right, so the backup center fielder option, I'm thinking it's either going to be Victor Robles, who we could bring in as a right-handed bat to pair with Calabrese's left-handed bat. I don't mind playing Calabrese against lefties. I don't think he was awful against lefties last year. Yeah, I mean, obviously a small sample size, but it's always a small sample size against lefties. He was even better against lefties because he played so little and the sample size is pretty, it fluctuates a lot. But I would not mind playing him against lefties and righties. So maybe bringing in Robles as a right-handed option to be his backup is not the most obvious thing, but yeah, Victor Robles, very similar profile too. He's 30, he's still got the 70 range. You can see here he played in Sugarland last year a lot for Houston in AAA. 8 CR down there. I would be interested in possibly bringing him back for a second stint with us. You could see he was with us in 2025, if you remember, as a bench piece, where he was not great. But he would have a much more limited role than he had with us in 2025. And then Trent Grisham is the other one that I'm looking at here, simply because I like the profile, the bat here, gap power, power eye. I had him as my center fielder with my Royals for quite a bit, and he's just incredible in center field in this game. And he's used to this backup role. Like, he was... I guess he started a decent amount for them, but he was not, like, every single day, like, main guy in center field for them. Maybe he got hurt or something. Not really, no. But yeah. I mean, he's a Gold Glover, not in this sim, but in real life. He's incredible in center. I think we're preferring Grisham. He expects to be a... Grisham. He expects to be a bench player. We're just going to give him a major league contract. Maybe, like... 1.2. Okay. 1.5. Boom. 1.5, 1 year. Trent Grisham, come be our backup center fielder. I do not understand what is going on right now because, as you can see, we have $284 million in budget. Our player payroll is $205 million. Right here it says that our total expenses are less than our budget. Okay, makes sense. We have a lot of money available. We have less expenses than we have in budget. Makes sense to me. But then whenever I go to player development, it says that being over the budget, the development budget is limited to half the league baseline. And then it says the same thing over here. What is going on? I don't understand how we could be over budget. Am I not mathing correctly? What is happening here? All right, well, I don't know what the deal is. To me, it says that we have less expenses than we have in budget even before I dropped this. So I don't know what the deal is, but I dropped our player development down to 18, and I dropped our scouting down to 13. This was at 15, this was at 20. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm just stupid, but it seems like we have plenty of money. But for whatever reason, Artie Moreno is just like, no, you can't possibly have $20 million in your development. All right, we should be able to get that back up to what it was because Artie Moreno has decided to raise our team's budget. That's fantastic. So I should be able to move this up to 20 million again. Can we do that? Boom. Okay, we're under budget. Can I move this up to 15? Yes. I don't know why it was any different before, but we can do this now. Solid. We have a lot of money to spend, but the thing is, I'm not just going to go spending it just because we have money, because I just don't think the players that are available in this year's free agency class are worth it. If we take a look at upcoming free agents, we can get rid of that. So next year, Ronald Acuna is hitting free agency. That could be an interesting one if he hits free agency, obviously. Jordan Alvarez is wrecked, apparently, and also on the Twins. Interesting. They say, along with $20 million to the Twins for this giant package. 65 great, oh my god, 65 potential shortstop, 45 potential, 40 potential, 45 potential, 55 potential. So this guy, super far away from the big leagues. And of course, it always does that. It can't just put you back on this page. And 20-year-old, 60 grade potential shortstop. So a potential interesting thing there, especially since Jordan is wrecked. Don't know why the Twins would want him with a wrecked potential, but the Twins did indeed trade for 1 year of Jordan Alvarez. So, you know, potentially next season, we could be big spenders in the offseason. Vladdy Guerrero could be interesting. If he hits free agency, I would not be opposed to going after Vladdy. Bring Vladdy to Anaheim. He's got the connections, folks. Could be an interesting... also, he's on the Dodgers, apparently. They also just made a trade for him for 1 year, along with $18 million for 50 grade potential and 50 grade potential. Okay. So interesting little trade package the Blue Jays get for Vladdy. But if he hits free agency... he's somebody I might go after. So we're probably going to have a decent chunk of change to spend in next free agency, like Vladdy, Acuna. We'd probably make Acuna like a first baseman or a DH because he's not an outfielder anymore. Jordan we would not go after. Luis Castillo, no, he's 35. Obviously this is all next season. Yanier Diaz, no. Riley Green could be an interesting guy if he hits free agency to be our center fielder. There's like what I'm saying is there are some interesting options because we are going to have some money. I mean, we already have a ton of money, and we're going to have Logan Webb coming off the books, depending on if we decide to re-sign him or not. But I'll probably lean towards not re-signing him and just QOing him. Or I'm not even sure if we can QO him because we didn't actually give him this contract. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I don't believe we're going to be able to QO him because we did not give him the contract. But anyways, we're going to have money to spend next season's offseason, and there's just not anybody really out there that interests me to spend big on this year. All right, so our longer player development lab guys have gone through. Logan O'Hoppe, unfortunately, did not improve his durability. It was a hard thing to improve, but still unfortunate to see that. But still, normal injury, we'll take that. Chris Sands, outstanding, improved by his control. His potential and his current control have both been raised by 5. You can see here. Love to see that. Love. I guess it hasn't shown in here yet, but boom. Potential control and current control both improved by 5. Love to see it with Chris Sands. We'll get a updated scouting report on him, might as well. And then, no improvement on Patrick Forbes, unfortunately, on his velocity. But Sadid Matthews does improve his current power rating by 5. So his power, once again, I guess I don't know why that's not showing, but we will indeed request a scouting report on him. Improves by 5, and then also outstanding improvement on Andrew Healy. His potential and current control improved by 5. It's still saying 45 here, but we'll get another scouting report on him. I don't know why it's not automatically updating when it does that, but we will get another scouting report on them, and hopefully Andrew Healy here is an absolute stud for us. Also, something that has been worth noting has been Nelson Rada. I don't know when this happened, but his outfield range has moved up to his current contact went down for whatever reason. That was back in September, but his defense rating has improved from 45 to 50 in center field, and it improved from 40 to 45 apparently during the season. So I don't know what that was about, but his potential. His outfield range now is a 60 range, so pretty solid there. Not going to ever play him in center field, like, to start, but he is definitely an option to, like, play there occasionally if we ever need him to. And then plus it also is just going to make his corner outfield defense even better. His arm is up to 50 now too. And if we take a look at Mike Trout here, his arm is down to 45. So I'm not sure if we're going to be doing this thing where Trout's in right field and Rada's in left. We actually might have Rada in right and Trout in left. We will have to see how it goes. I don't know what happened, but Brandon Woodruff, his stamina is back up to 55. We love to see that, folks. I don't know what happened. He came back from his injury. It dropped from 55 to 35. And then I guess over the offseason, he worked on it. And now, boom, he's back up to being a 55 stamina starter. And his overall has moved back up to 65. So Brandon Woodruff, let's see what he can do here, coming back from his torn UCL. All right, love to see it. We actually did have Mike Trout learning a new position in the development lab. And I know sometimes when that happens, it also gives him a boost to his ratings at that, because if he's an outfielder and he knows all 3 outfield positions, then he's probably going to learn first base. And he learned first base, and his ratings improved a little bit at first base. So now he's no longer like a complete 0 there, and he might be an option for us next season at first base. Just because we're going to keep Trout in the lineup, obviously. He's Mike Trout, but he is coming to the point in his career where he's going to be 37 soon. He's not Mike Trout. He's Mike Trout in name. Artie Moreno with a very realistic expectation on the season. Simply just repeat. That's the expectation. Simply just win it all again. Alrighty, we are here on opening day, and the roster is set here for the 2028 season. Take a look at our pitching staff here. 1 to 5, it's Logan Webb, Brandon Woodruff, Dylan Cease, Reed Detmers, and Griffin Canning. I feel like that's a very solid 1 to 5. In the bullpen, we've got the double-barreled stopper of Andrew Healy, our new man here, 70 stuff. Really good stuff, like what we see from him. He was insane for St. Paul last year in their rotation. He's going to be a stopper for us. Ben Joyce also graduating from middle relief to stopper with his 80-grade fastball, 80-grade slider. I think he has plenty of stamina, plenty of ability, enough to be a stopper, so we're going to have him in that role to start the season at least. Then we have Hayden Birdsong as like the clear-cut third-tier guy, set up 6th or later, stopper secondary role. And then this is like this will be like the next tier of players. Phillips, Hales, and Lopez. Lopez was huge for us in the postseason last year. Incredible home run suppression from him. He was just great for us last year as the left-handed reliever, middle relief specialist guy. And then Sean Burke is going to be our long reliever with his 55 stamina. And also the mop-up, just so we have a designated guy who pitches in the mop-ups, rather than the game being like, oh, we're going to have Ben Joyce throw in this mop-up opportunity. So that is what the pitching staff looks like. When it comes to the lineups, pretty similar against righties and lefties. We're just going to keep them how they are right now. Nelson Rada playing right field, leading off. Logan O'Hoppe, Zach Neto, Nolan Shanuel, Mike Trout, Ian Happ, Jordan Westberg, David Calabrese, I know what his name is, Calabrese, and then Kyron Paris. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think we might go Shanuel and we might flip Shanuel and Ohapi. I think it's fine the way it is. Yeah, I like the lefty-righty thing. We have the double righties here, but I like the lefty, righty-righty, lefty-righty, lefty-righty, lefty-righty. That's the only reason why Calabrese is above Paris, because I think Paris is a better hitter than him, but I just like the lefty-righty thing. Ideally, we have a good mix of that. Is it the end of the world if we go like this? No. But I think it's fine to have it like that. So we're just going to have it like that. It's the same thing against lefties. It's just the only thing that changes is the bench moves around a little bit. We picked up Cal Raleigh to be our backup catcher. So Cal Raleigh is our backup catcher, big dumper. Abreu and Trout are going to be the main backup first baseman. Jorge Mateo is our backup infielder. We did not end up keeping the guy from the Rule 5 from the Yankees. We went with Jorge Mateo. I just felt like he was a more interesting player with the versatility everywhere, as well as the stealing ability and the base running ability as a pinch runner. So Jorge Mateo is going to be our backup infielder, as well as the secondary center field backup, where Alan Cerda is on the team once again, obviously. He's one of our corner outfielders. And Wilyer Abreu is the other corner outfielder option, lefty-righty. Interesting, like righty with Cerda, lefty with Abreu. And then Trent Grisham is our backup center fielder with the good gap power and eye combo. He is a very good center fielder. As you can see, had an 18 ZR for New York when he started in 2024. 2025, he had a 9 ZR in Colorado. 2027, he had a 7 ZR in San Diego. So it's going down, but he's still a quality backup center fielder in my mind, especially with this bat that could pop off. So Trent Grisham's the backup center fielder. Jorge Mateo is the secondary backup center fielder. I'll probably put him as never start, because if we want somebody to start, it's going to be Grisham. And then, yeah, so Abreu and Cerda are the backup corners. The pinch hitters and everything swap around depending if it's a righty or a lefty. We want to make sure that he is on never start in center field. So yeah, that is the lineups we have. Let's take a look at the preseason predictions here. They do not project the Orioles to win 125 games, only 91. The Twins are projected to win 97 games, and they actually think we're going to win 76 games? What happened? 76? They only thought we were going to win like 82 or something last year, but still, 76? What happened? Why did they think we stink? Is it simply, they have no respect for Ohapi and Shanuel and the top hitters at all. What's that about? And then the top pitchers, no respect for anybody in here. No respect for Logan Webb. No respect for Brandon Woodruff. Just disrespectful. But we move things on to the National League. Atlanta projected to win the NL East. Shocking. Reds and Brewers projected to win 90 games, as well as the Cardinals. NL Central looking quite tough now. Even the Cubs win an 85 games projection. And then the Dodgers back to being projected to win just a boatload of games like they usually do. Yeah, so those are the projections, and we will now embark on the 2028 season.